friends, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my vlog reading the After series. So if you have watched a previous vlogmas video, you will know that I reread the first book in the series recently and sort of changed my opinion from the first time that I read it, and I ended up actually giving it 3 stars, where before I either gave it 1 or 2 stars, and I decided that I wanted to continue reading the series. So now I am halfway through After We Collide, but if you are not familiar with this series and for some reason you're watching this video, thank you so much. But After is basically about the romantic relationship between Tessa and Hardin. It originally started as Harry Styles fan fiction, and in the first book it starts when they meet each other at college. Hardin is very much like the bad boy, sad boy tropes. Tessa is the good girl that wears long skirts and is a virgin and can't even talk about her period. And in the first one, they have a very, very tumultuous relationship, on again, off again. And at the end of the first one, they end up breaking up. So this is going to be a spoiler-filled vlog. If you have not read the After series and you plan to, you don't want to know any spoilers, I would recommend clicking off, and I will catch you guys in my next one. But if you don't care about spoilers, or you've already read it or whatever, we'll get into them now. So the end of the first one, we found out that Hardin had bet Tessa's virginity. So basically he had made a bet with his friends at a party, basically whoever would win her virginity first, and he kept the condom and the sheets and showed them to them after they had already been together for a while. She finds out at the very end of the book, and then in the beginning of this book, it basically starts off right where they left off, where that one left off. And at this halfway mark, they are back together. So I will say a good portion of the first bit is legitimately them not like doing anything together. They have some interactions with each other, and Hardin is a very different character than he was in the first one. So Hardin is characterized as like this very aggressive, very rude guy who kind of just insults her and can be sweet sometimes, but doesn't really have a filter and doesn't really care what he says and doesn't really seem to have any remorse. And for the most of this book, that was the opposite of how he was reacting. Every time he was around her, he was stumbling, he was stuttering, he was sad, he was anxious, and he was constantly apologizing. And they end up having some situations together, some interactions sexually together, in which Tessa kind of realizes, like, I do love him. They've been together like maybe 3 months. It's been like 3 months since they met, but I do love him, and like I don't want to not be with him just because other people are telling me like I should not be with him. So they end up getting back together, and she finds out that he not only has done this before, like the whole bet thing before for a woman's virginity, he's also filmed sex tapes with the women not knowing that he was filming them and then releasing them. So that's kind of why he moved to America, and then he did it again when he got to America. So she like pretty quickly forgives him for this. Like, she makes him leave, and then she's like, you know what, that's his past, like everybody's made mistakes, he's clearly a different person now. Which, to that I say, he doesn't care. Like, he literally says to her when they're arguing that he doesn't care about anybody but her, which is like a sweet sentiment, right? That's like, oh, that's so cute, like morality chain, all that kind of stuff. But if you are willing to sexually violate someone in that way and completely ruin their life, not only leave them with the mistrust and trauma from that sexual experience, but also she lost her scholarship, her family kicked her out, and you don't care 1 iota, I don't know about that. And Tessa herself, like, okay, I said in that previous video that, like, I don't think that this book should be kept away from people, or like people should make the comment of like, oh, don't read this, like it's really bad, because it's a toxic relationship. And I'm not like disagreeing with that. I still agree with that because it is a toxic, messy relationship. It's just kind of, ugh. Like, it's not ever something that I'm gonna root for their relationship unless there's some, like, insanely crazy character growth that happens between this and the rest of the books, which I have seen reaction videos for the movies, so I know the spoilers for this series, the majority of them. So, I don't think there's insane character growth. And, like, I'm just not gonna root for their relationship. And one of the things that okay, so with Tessa, there's, like, several issues that I have. She constantly is like, how am I gonna defuse the bomb of Hardin? How am I going to leave him when I'm the only person he can sleep with without nightmares? I'm his only chance at happiness. And she constantly equates their sexual passion with, like, a good relationship. Like, she'd be like, well, you know, not a lot of people have passion like we do. She kept saying, like, some dumb shit, like, in this first portion that I'm forgetting now, but I was like, Tessa, come on. She made a comment in the first one of, like, my mom raised me not to be treated like shit by a man. Oh, that was the thing. She literally acknowledges that he has no respect for women. Like, she says that repeatedly, like, oh, he watched his mom being beaten, so that's why he doesn't have, and his dad left, that's why he doesn't have any respect for women. What? No? He was raised by a single mother. His dad was a piece of shit. That should give him the utmost respect for women. Like, his mom literally bent over backwards, worked multiple jobs to make sure that he survived. Why doesn't he have any respect for women? I'm confused. I'm real confused. I don't know. Like, and why would you want to be with someone who just doesn't respect half of the population just because they have a vagina instead of a dick? You know, just not cute things. And as far as, like, Hardin is concerned, the way he's written is very weird. And listen, I know she was 16. I know this is fan fiction that was just, like, edited and turned into a book. Like, that's all cool. I get it. Some of the best writing I've ever read is fan fiction. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a fan fiction writer. This is just not well written, period. And the fact that this went through editors and publishers, Simon Schuster, means that you just put it out there because a lot of people love it without concern for the actual, like, quality of the writing. But his point of view is written very differently than how Tessa sees him. And, like, I get it, like, and how not just Tessa but everybody in his life sees him, and I get it, like, everybody's self is different than what the face they put on for the rest of the world. But in his head, he's this, like, loving and doting guy who just wants everything to be great for her, and she makes everything better. And at this point that I'm at, he's starting to fight a lot of people, which, I mean, come on. You're like 23 at this point. Like, you're between the ages of, like, 20 and 22, 23. Why are you acting like a child? Like, why is that still, like, I get it. We can have conversations about men and their maturity and all of that baloney bullshit excuse you use, but this is written by a woman? Is that cute? Okay, I know toxic fighting alpha-ness was cute for, like, 16-year-olds or whatever. This is when she wrote it, but, like, I don't know. Their relationship is just messy, and I don't root for it. But my camera's about to die, so we're gonna talk when I have finished it, because there's a lot of books in the series and I don't feel like going on a 10-minute rant about all of them. So I will update you when I am done, and then we'll move on to the next one. But overall, messy, gross. Hardin's gross, Tessa's gross, all of them are gross, and I don't root for the relationship, but it's a fun time to read. Like, I enjoy reading it. It's like a soap opera. So we'll talk when I am done. Okay, friends. I finished it. Finished After We Collided. I'm gonna give this 2 stars. I'm gonna give, meaning I already gave. After the 3rd consecutive cheating allegation / fight, I just wasn't having fun anymore. It just is so long. That's the issue, because even if I were to read all of the books in order, say she did, like, 10 books in the series, which is outrageous. But she had, you know, 300 pages of messiness per book. At least with each book, I would feel like that story was wrapped up. And then we went into a new drama, and then that was wrapped up, so on and so forth. So I would feel some sort of like, I don't know, just some sort of closure or something like that. But this is just, they're constantly fighting about something. And first it's him cheating, then it's her cheating, then it's him cheating in a row. Just like awful and boring. So basically they get back together after the big fight. She finds out about the video thing. Everything seems to be going great. And then there's a bunch of cheating allegations, and in the very end she's being followed by this dude who seems to be a man who's homeless, and she finds out it's her dad. I mean, I knew that twist because I watched reaction videos to the movies rather. So I'm gonna go on to the next one. I don't think anything of importance really happened in this book besides the fights and her dad. I'm kind of over it, but I want to get through the other books, and they're all like longer or the same length, and I just like I just like I just finished another bad book, another 2-star book for another video, now a 2-star book for this video. That's not your concern. You're here to hear me talk about after. But yeah, not impressed, didn't enjoy. Hopefully we'll go into this next one and it'll be better. Sorry for this unenthusiastic clip. I don't even have anything, like, I don't even have anything to rant about. I don't have any reason to get heated or anything like that, because it was just boring and bad and the same arguments over and over again. And I could get into how the relationship is toxic and it has abusive elements and they're both kind of fucking idiots, and Tessa accepts abusive behavior and Hardin has anger issues, but Tessa makes everything out to be like she's always the innocent party, and like that toxic dynamic. But like, we all know, right? We all know that this relationship is toxic. They're like in their early 20s. They refuse to acknowledge any past traumas and work through it and go to therapy. Hardin is always throwing something. He's always mad. He pushes Tessa in this, so the relationship has escalated to physical violence. That's something that annoys me about Tessa, is she constantly comments to everybody, to herself. Anytime he gets mad, she's like, he would never physically hurt me. Physically. He would never physically hurt me. Over and over again. Not he would never hurt me, he would never physically hurt me. As if like that's the only form of abuse there is. Yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next one, and hopefully I'll have something to say. I was just gonna do halfway and 75% mark updates, and I might still continue to do that, but hopefully like these next books pick up and I actually have something fun to say. I don't want the same arguments. Like, it's either about cheating, it's about how cruel Hardin is, it's about his jealousy, or it is about his lies, like him betting her virginity. She has already been forgiven him for that. She forgave him for all of the lies that he's told and all that. She still brings it up. So I'm just tired of the same arguments over and over again. It's exhausting to read about. It's exhausting to read, just period. It's exhausting to read, not fun. So I think the next one is called After We Fell, so I'm gonna get into that one. And this is the one that I remember the least about in regards to movie. So hopefully I'll have some good things to say. I know some of the other twists that are to come. Hardin's dad, the book thing, and like her not being able to have children. I don't consider that a twist, but I think that's like handled like a twist or whatever. And I think that's it there's probably going to be some more cheating allegations. So yes, I'm going to get into After We Fell, and we'll talk later. In case you were wondering, After We Fell, 810 pages. Jesus fuck. Alright, listen. I really tried. I did. And by really, I mean I got about 20 pages in, and I decided to DNF this. I cannot do it. I cannot do 900 pages. This couple that I don't like, that exhausts me, with the same fucking arguments over and over again, the same issues. I just can't do it. Like, I don't... Yeah, I'm not going to continue. I know I have like 2 more books left in this series, and I just won't do it. So, my overall thoughts is like, the books themselves are bad in my opinion, like 2 stars. They're messy in a bad way. They're not well written. They're over explained. The relationship is very flat and one note. They argue about the same shit over and over again. There's really no character growth. It seems like there is, but there really isn't. The relationship itself is like not cute. It's very toxic and messy. Again, not in a fun way. Again, they have the same arguments. I don't like Hardin. I think he's a piece of shit. And I also equally think Tessa is a piece of shit. And this is one of those couples that like everybody needs one. Everybody needs one relationship like this. It's usually when you're young, usually when you're around college age, and then you move on and find healthier relationships with healthier coping mechanisms, and like this is your like learning experience. And I'm never gonna root for their relationship, and it's become exhausting. If they argued about different stuff, maybe like if there was actual growth, maybe, but I'm also not someone to sit there and read like multiple books about a couple or books about couples that are already together. And even though they argue and break up constantly, like that's not fun for me, because their breakups and stuff are literally like their own issues. It's the same shit. Like they say they've worked through something, but they really haven't. They bring it up again in later arguments. It's constantly about cheating and lying to each other and all that kind of stuff, which is just boring drama to me. And I think it's just too long. Like, it's just too many arguments over too long books. And if there was some, like I said earlier, if they were shorter and there was some sort of resolution at the end, and maybe every book had new arguments or new plot twist, it would be better. But it's just the same shit, the same characters. It's just boring. So I would say like maybe I will try again in the future, but I've already tried to read this series twice and I don't like it. So it might just be a not for me thing. It might just be like one of those nostalgia things. If I had read it when I was younger, I would love it sort of deal. 26-year-old me trying to read this for the first time is not enjoying it. That's gonna be it for this video, unfortunately. I'm sorry that it is so short, or that I didn't read all the books. Let me know down in the comments your opinions on the series. If you read it, when you read it, I would love to hear it. If you don't have anything to say, leave a cat emoji down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you are looking for more content from me, you can check out my Instagram and my podcast Instagram. You can also check out my podcast on all your favorite streaming platforms. It is a horror podcast. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one.